All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about what the recently launched RTX 50 series is doing to the GPU market, specifically the high-end cards. We'll do a little bit of a deep dive into what's been transpiring and answer a couple of questions. One of them being, should you buy any high-end card right now? But before we get into that, we have to talk a little bit about the launch, which in reality, it felt more like a glorified purple launch, right? Both the 5080 and the 5090 dropped in theory, but unless you are willing to camp outside of Micro Center or have some crazy NASA level, but at checkout, you weren't really getting one. To make matters worse, before you could even think about restocks, Nvidia already said that supply is going to be really tight in the next few months, creating a scalper's dream and a gamer's nightmare. Which brings me to my next point. Within hours, both cars starting to appear on eBay and Fairson Marketplace for double and even triple MSRP. Let's take a look here. And this is today is February 5th, so it's been about 6 days since launch, and still the cars are for the 5080 is double MSRP, over $2,000, and for the 5090 for the most part $7,000, $6,000, $7,000 is almost triple MSRP in some of them. And it's $3,000. So it's been a little bit of a crazy launch. The worst part is people are actually paying these prices. Here, this is sold items, sold listings on eBay for the 5080. $2,000. People are paying these prices. I mean, if you've been around for a while, this probably feels too familiar. GPU scalping isn't new, but NVIDIA's artificial sarcasticity just makes matters worse. Instead of learning from previous launches, they absolutely fumbled this one. But now let's get into what I really wanted to talk about, and that's the GPU market, specifically the high-end cards across the board. I wasn't waiting for the 50 series cards to drop because I wanted one. I was hoping it would trigger some sort of discount. I know Nvidia isn't known for drastically dropping prices on older gen when a new generation comes out, but it made sense to me to think that both Nvidia and retailers were at least try to clear inventory to make room for the 50 series. But boy, was I wrong. Instead, this launch has thrown the entire GPU market into panic mode. Supply uncertainty, artificial sarcasticity, a scalper fuel demand have created a feeding frenzy, and retailers are taking full advantage of it. I mean, we're seeing the 4070 Ti Super, the 4080 Super, and the 4090 go drastically up in prices. I found these on Newegg. Let's start with the 4070 Ti Super. I mean, this is double MSRP for this card. Absolutely pandemonium. This is crazy. This is brand new Newegg non-retailer, right? 4070 Ti Super. Let's check for the 4080 Super. Again, double MSRP. That's crazy. Crazy. I mean, to a certain degree, now I understand why some people are buying the 5080 on eBay, right? Because if Newegg is selling the 4080 Super, and yes, the 5080 does beat the 4080 Super. It doesn't beat the 4090, but it does beat the 4080 Super. So I would rather pay $2,000 for a 5080 than for a 4080 Super if those were my two options at that price point, right? And then we have the 4090. Double over, I mean, MSRP was 1,600, right? So this is more than double MSRP right now anyways. But at least double of like normal prices, like whatever the prices for the 4090s were. a few months back. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. $4,000 on Newegg for a 4090. I mean, the cheaper ones, $3,000 is still. A few months back, they were less than $2,000. At this rate, upgrading to a high-end GPU feels like a lose-lose situation. You either pay a ridiculous premium for a Scal 50 series or overpay for a last-gen GPU that's not worth that. And to make matters worse, AMD has jumped in on this madness. To my surprise, AMD didn't take advantage of Nvidia's blunder. They joined in on the chaos instead. This was their chance to position themselves as the go-to choice for high-end GPUs by offering more accessible prices and taking a chunk out of Nvidia's market dominance. But instead, they just smell blood and pounced. Let's take a look at the 7900 XTX. Again, they only have two cars right now available. They have the Sapphire Nitro and the Gigabyte uh, here, but they're both like $400 above MSRP, or at least, I mean, these out of stock prices right here, these are they were going for um, a few months back. Let's take a look at the 7900 XT. Yeah, I mean, these cars also went up in prices. That's is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. This could have been their moment to sway high-end gamers looking for an alternative. But instead, they're just playing the same game as Nvidia, with both companies prioritizing margins over value, and gamers are the only ones that are truly losing here. Which brings me to the question: should you be buying a high-end GPU right now? The answer to me is absolutely not. This is one of the worst time to be buying a high-end GPU. The market is in absolute turmoil. Um, Scalpers are running wild, and retailers are exploiting the situation instead of offering fair prices. If you are desperate, just wait. Give it a few months uh, for the hype to die down and for stock to stabilize. Otherwise, you're left with either, again, overpaying for 50 series cars and or getting ripped off on last gen models that should not be priced the way they are. I had another thought, and I'm really hoping that the 50 series cars don't normalize for hundreds of dollars above MSRP. We have seen this in the past with the 4090. Like once it launched and the uh, the dust sort of settled, the price for the 4090 normalized at $2,000, over $2,000 for the most part. So here's me hoping we don't have another one of those. But with that being said, what do you guys think about this mess? Are you waiting, buying, or just giving up on upgrading altogether? Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, consider subscribing for more PC hardware content, and I'll catch you in the next one.